run it up.
And a very good morning. It is Sunday here in Kobe, day 3 of the Para-Athletics World Championships at the Kobe Universiade Memorial Stadium. The weather today is a little bit cooler than it has been the past couple of days, but do not fret. It is going to improve over the rest of the week. Slight breeze blowing in this wonderful stadium. And it is day 3 with 19 gold medals up for grabs. The opening 2 days have been full of world records, championship records, season bests and lifetime bests. And well, those who have been witnessing the school children who have been in, looks like we have baseball teams in today. We've had everything. Whoever has been in here has been enjoying these championships, and they'll enjoy it some more this morning as well. Men's 1500 metres T11 opening round gets underway there. Yeltsin Jacks is the reigning champion and Paralympic champion. He'll be looking to add to that 5,000 metres gold, which he picked up on day 1 in a world record time. Women's long jump T12 will get us underway. We'll have 6 who'll be going in that one. Class field indeed. And as we work our way through the morning, there is so much more to look forward to. We'll have James Turner, who'll be going the men's 400 metres T36 final, reigning champion in that. We'll also have the men's 400 metres T11, the complete visual impairment category final in that one. Finishing off with the women's discus throw. Yao Zhuan of China, 9 world championship titles across javelin, shot put and discus, will be the favourite for that. So perhaps a bit gloomier than it has been for the past few days, but nonetheless it will not be gloomy on the track or field. 19 degrees the predicted maximum. You can see a bit of a breeze that's coming from the south of the stadium. That'll favour the long jumpers who get us underway in the first event of the morning. Not so much the athletes on the track when they come down the home straight. I'm Tolson Tollett. Will Downing is here. Steph Reed is alongside me as well, the former world and European champion. And Steph, it's a different day that has been the last couple of days, but there's no doubt whatsoever it's going to be hot on the track and the field.
It will be hot on the track, and yes, and the field. As a field eventer, we always want to give the field events some love. But one of the things that the organizing committee has done so well is engage all different types of people, all different ages, as you said, the baseball team today. And yesterday, I was so excited. Well, I was curious. The entire event had finished, and yet a massive crowd was gathering on the home straight. And we were wondering what's going on. And there was actually a race, I guess more a demonstration. And it was Takaya Mitsuka who had come. He is quite a popular social media influencer in Japan.
YouTuber, isn't he?
YouTuber, yes. And he came to run a guided race. He wanted to experience what it was like running without any vision and with a guide. And he's known for helping people to get into running and find the joy and excitement of running. And actually, we watched and we thought, my goodness, he's really good.
He looked like an athlete.
he was really good. I think he came in at about 13.13 seconds for the 100 meters. And he was asked if he had done a bit of practice, which he had. But I thought, what a brilliant thing to do to get a whole different generation in and engaged. And I couldn't help but think last night, we read all the time about all these footballers who are incredibly fast, and I say, let's get one of these footballers out. This is your official invitation from World Para-Athletics. Come, give running a try, give guided running a try, and let's understand just how fast these para-athletes are.
Yeah, he was fast and he had a wonderful technique as well. Now, I'm assuming if he's a social media man and YouTuber, someone had been recording that and it would have been up. Now, I'm just wondering why his practice runs hadn't been put up. We hadn't known anything about that. Surely they'd be put somewhere. I would have given the game away, wouldn't it?
But you know what? He has done, so again, his name is Takaya Mitsuka. You can look him up online, and he was putting together a whole package. Maybe there are some of the training runs, because he did look very, very good. I can only assume some practice went into that.
Yeah, his style was certainly of a high-class athlete. He looked really, really good out there, I have to say. I actually thought he was an athlete at first who was just doing a bit of a run by, but anyway, it wasn't. It was a YouTuber. Who says they can only do social media things?
To be fair, he has written quite a few books on running.
There we go.
But it was impressive. Occasionally, we will have media races at these events. And I think one year there was a media race where we had a guided run, and there was an ankle broken, from what I understand. So we don't quite do that one anymore. So there is quite a lot of technique and practice involved.
There's been issues in the past, yeah, when there's the 4x100 relay, and yeah, some have had to be given impediments to run, and it didn't work out too well. But here's our field for the women's long jump T12. There are only 6 going in this one. And they'll be ready to go imminently. Oksana Zybkovska of Ukraine holds the world and championship record in this one. That championship record set back in Lyon in 2013. The world record set in London at the 2012 Paralympic Games. There's a few more jumpers around today, and jackets, and it has dipped a little bit, but it's actually not, it hasn't dipped that much. It's only a few degrees less than what it has been the past couple of days, but it's more the sunshine isn't out and the cloud, there's a little bit of wind there, which has given it a chill factor of sorts. So the women's long jump T12 is the opening act of the morning. We'll also have at 9:15 local time, men's shot put F53. Wherever you're watching around the world, whether it be on the World Para-Athletics YouTube or Facebook page or through any other medium, you're very welcome to day 3 of these Para-Athletics World Championships in a delayed Kobe. Was supposed to be 2021 originally, got put back and then got put back one more time, and here we are. After Paris last July, we're now in Kobe, and we have another World Championships next year, so everyone getting their money's worth. Now, you're a long jumper. How much are you looking forward to this?
Well, was a long jumper, I have to say. I haven't been on the runway since retiring. And actually, long jump is one of those events. It's really hard to do in retirement. It's really hard to run down at top speed and take off and not pop a hamstring. So I have mostly been sticking with 5Ks, but I have to say it's one of those things where anytime you watch it and you've lived it and you've breathed it and you've been to World Championships and you've gone through all the highs and lows and that learning curve from just starting to when you get to these World Champs, it's always exciting to watch because you know what is behind every single effort.
Yeah, we got a glimpse there of the start list for the women's long jump T12. Just to remind you, that is medium visual impairment. You can see the windsock there is blowing in their favour, so it will be helping these athletes as they rocket down the runway. Sarah Fernandez-Roldan, who was a bronze medalist back in 2014 in Swansea. Lifetime best of 5:01. Sarah Araujo of Portugal. Sarah Martinez, who was a gold medalist all the way back in Swansea, as well as a couple of other times, and she won silver in 2021 and silver at the Paralympic Games. Kolbakova of Uzbekistan, she took silver last year in Paris. Sydney Fakal Takam, 21-year-old, and her first major championship, lifetime best set this year of 483. And Sawada Uran, bronze medalist last year in Paris, will look to go 2 better in front of her home crowd this time around. So 6 to go. Only one can be crowned champion. And it will be Sara Fernandez-Roldan, one of 3 Spaniards going in this one. Who'll get us underway first of all. Now, this being the T12 medium visual impairment, the guy will be helping out, and the takeoff platform will be as it has been for the T11. You can just see it in the foreground there, so it'll be a case of wherever on that platform they take off from is where the mark will be measured. So in the visual impairment category, they have a much larger takeoff area, not a board as such, but an area where, whether it be towards the front or whether it be towards the back, it'll be taken from the tip of where their toes finished off. So it is Sara Fernandez-Roldan to get us underway on day 3 of these Para-Athletics World Championships in Kobe. And it's a legal jump to get us underway by the Spaniard.
It's great to see Fernandez-Roldan getting the crowd involved early on. Sometimes in the visual impairment events, the athletes will actually call for silence because their guide is using clapping or using shouting to help them get down the runway. But in this case, Sarah definitely wanted to feel the support. It's quite rhythmical as you go down the runway. And so sometimes that clapping with the crowd actually really helps.
Yeah, she's a sprinter as well, is Sara Fernandez-Roldan, which obviously does help. And there is a lot of crossover. She was a bronze medalist in Dubai in 2015, the 4x100, also bronze in Grosseto in the Europeans in 2016 as well in the 100 meters. So she has speed. It does help in this event. And you can just see they're taking their time there. That is the board I was talking about, where they take it from where the athlete actually took off from. So it doesn't matter whether it be from the front of the board or the back of the board. As long as you're not fouling across the front, then you're okay. So 4:73 for Sara Fernandez-Roldan. Lifetime best of 5:01. But she has a mark to start with, and she's underway. Araujo of Portugal. It's a popular name, Sarah, in this one. We've got 3 of the 6 athletes. That's their first name.
Now in that attempt, you could hear the guide counting down that runway for her. So in that case, Araujo did not ask for the crowd, as that would have been a little bit distracting, perhaps not very helpful. But you can just feel the crowd waiting until the end, desperate to clap and get behind the athletes.
Yeah, perhaps not as much speed as Fernandez-Roldan, who went before her, but nonetheless, it is a legal jump. We saw the men's long jump T47 yesterday, and it was the first 3 or 4 who went really pushed the boundaries and overstretched so much that they were called fouls. So today we have the white flag in use more than the red flag.
There's been lots of talk, actually, in able-bodied athletics about this decision to trial measuring long jumps of the able-bodied athletes from the point at which they take off.
3:99 lifetime best for Araujo there with her opening jump. So she's added 23 centimetres to her lifetime best. She's just 1 centimetre shy of breaking through that 4-metre mark. Just going about the boards there, because it is an interesting point.
Yeah, and a lot of people are wondering, well, how is this going to work? Is this going to take away from the event? But if anyone has any questions about what this is going to look like, you can watch this event right here. So the athletes, they, instead of having a traditional 20-centimeter board, they have an area that is a meter long, and it's a material usually similar to chalk. And so wherever the athlete's foot makes the imprint is where the officials measure from. And you can see it's done manually. It's not done with a laser in this case or with cameras, and that's because they have to adjust the starting point for each athlete. Martinez
with her first. Well, Martinez has pushed towards the front of the board that time, but well, that was an absolute belter of a jump first up. Silver last year for Kolbakova, who's coming up next, but this lady took silver in the Paralympic Games back in 2020. That is a wonderful jump. Great height, great distance.
You can see there, she now had that foot gone over the red tape there, then it would have been called a foul. So it is still possible to do a foul in this event. And it's really hard to judge how far the athletes are jumping because she went so far into the pit, but she was also very far into the takeoff zone. And that's also why they don't have the meter markers on the side of the pit like they normally do.
Yeah, that could be extremely confusing. So you wonder why they almost go so close to the edge there when there's actually no need to, because it's taken from where you jump from anyway. So it is difficult, but this is the visual impairment category, so it can be a little bit hard sometimes to get to the point where you actually know you're jumping from a legal position. People may not see that as well as others, but 5.16 is a mighty first up jump. She has a lifetime best of 5.66, so she's half a metre short of that. Her season best is 5.37 for the triple European champion, Sarah Martinez. She goes straight, as you would imagine, into the gold medal position. So we do have the men's shot put F53 coming up a little bit shortly as well, and men's shot put F40 and women's distance throw F64. So there's 4 field events on this morning session for day 3. 9 days in total, 18 sessions all up. This is session number 5. Kolbakova will be next to go. Just waiting for a bit of silence. Kolbakova, the silver medalist in Paris last year. Well, that's not bad to start with either. Don't worry, disregard the board where she jumped from, because the mark, as we've been speaking about, will be taken from where she took off. And that's a strong start. The thumbs up to her coach from Kolbakova, just making sure she's done the right thing, but it's a wonderful stride pattern heading down.
That was a great jump from Kolbakova, and just technically you can see great action in the air, but the thing that crops up to me is I have seen that coach's face several times across Paris 2023. We've seen it here, and the athletes from Uzbekistan have been doing so well, both in the sprints and in the jumps. And this is what can happen when you get a really, really good coach in your country and you're getting excellent development of athletes. He has a very good system in place, and I would love to find out what his name is.
Well, Uzbekistan currently with a gold medal, 2 silvers here at these games already after a couple of days. They're up in equal 6th up on the medal total. 5.39 for Kolbakova, so she moves into the outright lead. And at this stage, after her first jump, is looking one better than she was in Paris last year. "21 years of age, Sydney Fakal Takam. First major championship, a lifetime best set this year of 4.83. Well, that's a wonderful example of how the guide brings the athlete in. You spoke about the Uzbekistan guide. That man there on the right, he's been around for, it seems like, eternity as well. And he looks after a lot of the visually impaired athletes.
Those are some powerful vocal cords on that man. And what actually was really interesting about him using that call when you were listening to it, not only is he using the sound to help direct, it's also the pattern of his voice. You can hear how he picks it up, and that's encouraging the athlete as you get closer to the board, you want to be increasing that stride frequency in order to, we call it run off the board. It's this idea where your takeoff and your run up are seamless.
Well, Takam is just waiting for that mark. It is, as Steph mentioned a moment or two ago, not done by lasers, so it does take a little bit longer. It is manually measured. 463. So 20 centimetres rather down on her lifetime best set this year, but a solid enough start.
And look, you see her coach there. He's got his notepad out. He is making notes, taking down that distance. He is on it.
The lady who picked up bronze last year. Crowd favourite from Japan. Sawada Uran. She was a former F13 athlete. You go all the way back to Beijing in 2008 when she finished 9th in that one. Well, that's legal enough, and the crowd are enjoying it. They know that's a fine first up jump.
This is a big moment for Sawada, a big opportunity. She won the bronze in Paris, but to win a medal in front of a home crowd is completely different. And Japan has sent a big team, 66 athletes. And just to put in perspective, and also in terms of population, USA has sent a team of just 30, Brazil 47, China 74. China is a bigger country, but Japan athletes, they didn't get that opportunity to compete in front of a home crowd in Tokyo 2021, and so this really is an exciting moment for them.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time she's medalled in front of a home crowd. She was part of the 4x100 universal relay team, which picked up bronze in the delayed Tokyo 2020 games. But she'll be absolutely loving it if she can pick up a medal individually in Kobe 2024. Just being measured at the moment. And it's always wonderful to see when we go through the first round and everyone comes up with a legal mark. 4.68. So it puts Sawada up into 4th position at the moment, but a long way still to go. Men's shot put F53 final. It's just about to get underway. The world record holder will go in this one, Abdelila Ghani. Set in Marrakesh just last month. Less than a month ago. That mark, 8.84. 6 to go in this one. And you can tell it's a bit chilly. They've all got the jackets on. They're all rugged up and ready to go. They're in the far northeastern corner of the stadium. And they're now going to be introduced. There is the man who holds that world record. Abdelila Ghani of Morocco, set in his home country. Alireza Mokhtari Hamami, who took silver back in 2020. He's the gold medalist from 2017 in London. Vyacheslav Kalev as a neutral para-athlete. Lifetime best of 8.14. Giga Ochikidze of Georgia.
Representing Portugal.
Lifetime best set this year of 7.83 for him. And Igor Rashi of Portugal.
Representing Georgia.
And David Chakseliani, who's in position and ready to go.
F53 starts now.
In this men's shot put. F53. Seated throw. Just getting themselves warmed up at the moment. You're not missing anything. As we head back to the long jump pit for the second round of jumps. And this is Sara Araujo of Portugal. 3.99 with her opener. Left her bottom of the pile.
We had a huge field last night for the men's T47, and I was just thinking 6 athletes in the field. It just means that the rounds are going to go a little bit quicker, and actually when temperatures are a little bit cooler, that can actually be a good thing, because you don't want to be sitting around for so long and having to then put in a lot of energy investment just keeping warm. And here we're getting a fantastic look at the process of what they have to do to maintain that takeoff zone. After each athlete has jumped, they then need to repowder the area, because you don't ever want to confuse one athlete's foot marking with another.
Well, that 3.99, by the way, was a lifetime best in her opener. 3.74, which she has just jumped, would have been just below her lifetime best coming into this. So still 1 centimetre shy of cracking that 4-metre mark, which I'm sure isn't too far away.
See Martinez there, just leaving her jacket on until the very last second. Look, in a power event, warm muscles make a difference.
It's been a fluctuating breeze again this morning. Martinez, her first jump was plus 2.3, which if she had broken any records, it wouldn't have counted. But there has been a relative turnaround in the breeze at times with others. Well, that's fine off the board. Just hard to work out exactly what it might be. It is a legal jump. Because there's no markers on that far side there with the visually impaired category, it is very hard at times to just try and have a guess at what they might be jumping.
You can see from her runway, though, so much rhythm. She uses those first 4 strides to take these really long, powerful strides, and then as she comes into the board, she quickens up that turnover. And that's what's going to give you that pop off the board. Well, I say board. There isn't a board in this case. Takeoff zone.
Well, Martinez is chasing down 5.39. That's what Kolbakova has, the silver medalist from last year. 5.09, though, no improvement. So she remains in second position, and that one was a headwind that she actually ran into. So it was a negative 0.5 headwind, that one, when it was plus 2.3 as a tailwind in her opener. So it does show you that the wind does fluctuate inside this stadium.
And that does make it tricky for the athletes. The wind really does make a difference. That's why we have this legal limit of 2.0 meters per second in order for, in the sprint or in the long jump, for the mark to count for a world record. Regardless of what the wind is, the jump counts within the competition, but it just goes to show that wind can really enhance, or in the case of a headwind, take away from performance.
Yeah, they do have that 1 minute as well. They can wait a little while longer if the wind is blowing into their face. They can opt to just hang on and just hope that it does slow down somewhat. Here goes Kolbakova with her second, and that's decent indeed. She already leads with a first up of 5.39. That was with a plus 2.8 tailwind.
And if you just watch after she takes off, her technique in the air, she does, well, it's a hitch kick, what I call a running man, and apart from looking very, very cool, it actually is one of the ways that athletes help to control that forward rotation. You can see then she did rotate a little bit forward on that landing, but forward is always better than back, as they are going to measure from the first imprint you put in the sand.
Something quite nice about watching the visually impaired long jump that they bring the tape measure out. It's like old school, isn't it? It's good to see. Well, 5:42, she has improved her opening mark by 3 centimetres, and that was a plus 1.4 tailwind on that occasion, so slightly less than the first one, and she's gone a little bit further. She extends that lead. She's now out to 26 centimetres in front of Sara Martinez of Spain.
You can just see Kolbova there getting a little bit of feedback. Typically, you will have a coach sitting in these stands, and that's a great position because they can see the full run in its entirety. So you have the eagle-eye view, and you have the view of the assistant on the ground. And she is looking, I mean, she's leading, but she's still going to want to get a bit more distance.
Sydney Takam of Spain, 4:63 with her opener. She needs to find 11 centimetres if she wants to go into the medals. Well, it was solid off the board, or the takeoff area. Friendly arm around the shoulder from the guy, just saying what she did right and perhaps trying to improve on other things for next time.
At the moment, it is really tight looking at that third medal spot. Third currently sits at 4'73". Fuku Takam is currently at 4'63". So it needs another 10 centimeters to lift herself up into the medals, which isn't a lot. And yet, medals are won and lost on these really, really fine margins.
Yeah, we've seen you can throw a blanket over a bunch of athletes at times in these long jump competitions especially. I remember we had one yesterday, I think it was T47 men, where there was a gap only about 15 centimetres that had about 6 athletes within that particular range. So small margins can make the difference.
I always encourage people watching to actually mark out just how small these distances are. Get out a ruler. And actually measuring it out helps you appreciate just how far the jumps themselves are, but also those small, small margins on which medals are won and lost.
Well, 4:52 for Sydney Takam with her second jump, so no improvement, and all of a sudden up comes Sawada Uran. We talk about small distances. She's 5 centimetres behind Fernandez Roldan in that bronze medal position. Well, that looked all right. Ikimas, I'm pretty sure, thinks she's going in Japanese.
It was lovely just to see the partnership there on that runway as Sawada settles herself. She calls out to her guide, lets them know that she is ready to go, and that was much better lift off that board. Actually, it was a great angle because you could see the height of her hip in relation to the guide's head, and that is always an excellent sign when you are getting your center of mass that high.
Well, there'll be a cheer, I can tell you, if she goes into that bronze medal position here. And she has. So 491 lifts Sawada Uran up into the bronze medal position ahead of Sara Fernandez Roldan. So Japan may have a medal in the opening event of the morning if it stayed as it was. Long jump pit down to the left of the screen there. Sara Fernandez Roldan. We'll get us underway in the third round of jumping.
It's always interesting to watch how an athlete is going to respond when they have seen themselves just knocked out of mental position. It's a unique situation because in the 100 meters, everybody runs at the same time, but in the long jump, you have this opportunity for back and forth and the chance to respond.
How'd you rate that?
Well, by her body language, I think that tells us everything that we need to see. It was an excellent runway, and I wonder, just watch where her foot placement is. Just at the very, very last moment, I wonder if she was aware of how close she was to the board, and you can see that perhaps just a little bit of too much chopping of that stride caused her just to not quite catch that. You can see her rotating forward. And when you rotate forward like that, what that means is your feet are just coming down sooner than what they needed to.
Well, 473 is her best. It wasn't good enough for the bronze medal position a moment or two ago before Sawada of Japan usurped her. .478. So it is an improvement, but it's not enough to lift her back up into third position.
I think that's why her guide was had a bit of a wry smile at the end. It was a good jump in the sense that there was a lot of power and speed there. It just wasn't quite directed in the right way at that takeoff.
Well, that lifetime best was set of 3.99 by Araujo in her opening jump. And 3.74 in a second. Probably not an improvement that's going to be coming in this one.
It's quite an exciting opportunity for the 22-year-old. You can tell by her technique, you can tell by the fact that her run-up is still quite short, just 12 strides. She is in, I guess what you would call the development stage, still at an elite level, but so early in your career, it just takes time to work out the technique. Long jump is very, very technical. Yes, you need a lot of speed, but there are a lot of fast runners who can't long jump. And that's just because they haven't quite worked out how to redirect. But what an opportunity to learn on a world stage like this.
Yeah, 360 there with that third jump, so no improvement at all. As we move down the track and move across to the men's 1500 metres T11. The opening round will be getting underway shortly. Yeltsin Jacks, who's the reigning champion and Paralympic champion, as well as the Pan American Games champion from last year, will get us underway in that one. And Will Downing, good morning to you.
Yes, very good morning, everyone. For as long as it's going to last, anyway. Sorry. Good morning. Men's 1500 metres T11. There are 5 going in this. And included in it is the silver medalist from Tokyo 3 years ago, Shinya Wada, who's very much going to be among the favourite teams for the home support here. Darwin Castro, the Pan Am champion from 2019. Wada, as mentioned, the silver medalist from the last Tokyo Paralympic Games, and bronze in the 5,000 metres championship debutant for Ethiopia is Yetoyal Yigso. Already gold in the 5,000 metres here for Yeltsin Jack, who is the defending champion from last year, and Eric Sang also for Kenya.
Men's 1500 meter T11, round 1, heat 1.
So let's start on the inside for Ecuador. Pan Am champion over 5,000 in 2019, Darwin Castro, and his guy Diego Arevalo. On his outside, 2 medals, silver and bronze in Tokyo, the Paralympic Games, Shinya Wada, and his guides, Takumi Asabi Tomoto
And from
Kitamuba debutant for Ethiopia. Yitial Yixol and his guide Esabalu Nabere.
Representing Brazil,
The new 5,000 meters champion, the defending champion over 15 is Yeltsin Jack, and his guide Antonio Barreto Lima. And on the far outside, 8th in the 5,000 meters final yesterday, Eric Sang and his guide Andrew Ndiema.
1500 meter T11 round 1, heat 1 starts now.
So 5 in this. It is the first 2 and the next 2 who are going to progress into the final. Shinya Wada, who is such a popular athlete in this sport, and I must say we do have a nice crowd here in the home straight. I know a lot of you watching will say, well, all the cameras face the back straight. We have a few hundred there, but it's a nice crowd this morning. It is colder than usual. Yay, we're underway. Men's 1500 meters T11. Castro, Wada, Yixol, Jacques and Sang. And Yeltsin Jack is taking a position straight away at the front, as you might well expect for a man who's done so well in the past. He is the reigning Pan Am 5,000 meters champion, plus taking gold in this 1500 meters in 2015 when it was held in Toronto. Already stretched out 1 to 5. Eric Sang right at the back, but he doesn't have to worry about that for the moment. So Yeltsin Jack takes him through. We've got 3 laps to go, and I've got 3 laps to go today. I'm very sorry about this. Anyway, it is Yeltsin Jack who's leading the way, and a little bit of movement behind him with Wada in second position.
Well, from what we saw in the 5,000 meters, we know Jacques has both the speed and the endurance to lead this right from the front and run it pretty much whatever way he wants. However, the benefit of getting right out to the front is that immediately you are away from all of the traffic and away from any danger of collision. You can see when you're running with a guide there, it's not just about one body trying to find a gap or an opening. You've now got 2 bodies that need to move into position and 1 pair of eyes responsible for all of those movements. So a good, safe move that you have the option of doing when you are as fast as Jacques is. Now, I'm not sure if the women in the long jump are as happy about the temperatures this morning. However, I'm sure that these 1500 meters are not minding the fact that there is a little bit of cloud cover and it might be a little bit cooler.
Yeah, we've got 2 laps to go here, and it's Yeltsin who is out in front, and Yixol, who is one of very many interesting debutants for Ethiopia. We've seen in the women's just how well they've got new names in, because they picked up golds in that in the middle distances, and this may be the future. Sang, I can tell you, is way out the back. Not quite sure why. As a man who is usually in and around, he's never medaled in a major championship, but he's way, way behind. It's Yeltsin Jack who leads the way. Yixol in second, Wada's third. It's the first 2 and the next 2 who are going to be able to go through. And the gap is decent enough. Sang is pretty much out of the equation. Yeltsin Jack has taken firm control of this. Castro is a good bit back in 4th position. Yixol second. And we're on the way to the bell. And Yeltsin Jack is looking very, very confident.
Now, at the moment, Wada, the home athlete, is sitting in 3rd position. Now, only the first 2 are going to qualify. However, Yeltsin Jack has taken this out at a pace, and if it does come to a qualifying time, Wada will be very happy for this quick pacing.
Yeah, I've got 300 meters to go. And it's Yeltsin Jack who's out in front with his guide, Antonio Barreto Lima, in second spot. Yitzhak Yixol with his guide, Esabalu Nabere. And they're good and comfortable in the top two positions right now. Wada, I think, should be able to do a good enough time to be among the next two fastest. He's currently in third spot. But there's no problem at all for our leader here. Generally, he will do middle doubles. He's already won the 5,000 meters here, and he's on the way to victory in this heat. It's the semi-final. He's going to take it. It's going to be a good time as well. Close to the championship record. Jack wins it. Jigsaw is in second, and it is Shinya Wada in third. He doesn't have an automatic place, but I think he should be okay. And then the rest, Castro in fourth, and Eric Sang, who normally does make finals. I don't think he's going to make this one at all. Well, mathematically, he cannot. He is in fifth spot. So Jacques wins it. Jigsaw second. 4:05.22 is the winning time. Wada is third, and Castro is in fourth spot. Gave it a good go, did Yeltsin Jack. And that's the way to do it. Won the 5,000 meters yesterday and has taken it right out from the start to win this.
Yeltsin Jacques and his guide clearly had their plan in mind, and that was a fast time. And just look at how comfortable Jacques looks coming down that home straight. But also look at the arm action of Jacques and his guide. They were in perfect synchronicity the whole time, and you can actually see the difference, particularly with Wada and his guide towards the end. That action just got a little bit ropier, but I suggest that Wada will be very, very pleased that he happened to be in that heat with Jacques, as that was a fast time for both Yigsa and Wada.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good victory, really, for Yeltsin Jack after claiming the 5,000 meters yesterday. As we go back to the women's long jump T12, and yeah, I think I shall go back to bed. I'm really sorry about today, but talk to you tomorrow, I think, if I can. Sorry about this. That's life.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Literally.
See you next year.
Here's our leader, Nicole Bakova. That was a lovely cameo by Will Downing anyway. So Nicole Bakova with 5:48 for her third jump. So that is an improvement again. She extends her lead. That means she's 32 centimeters clear of Martinez in second as we head back to the track. It's the 1,500 meters, the second heat, semi-final, whichever way we want to look at it. The first two will go through.
Representing Brazil,
Next two fastest
Agripino dos
will advance
Santos
after
Julio
that.
Cesar. The guy, Batista dos Santos Michael. Representing Japan,
So Jimmy Casado of Ecuador goes up first. Agripino dos Santos is also involved in this one. The Pan American Games winner last year. Karasawa Kenya, Fedor Rudakov and Mikhail Rakovsky on the outside. Karasawa, the Japanese athlete, silver last year in Paris. He's already won bronze here over the 5,000 meters. Agripino dos Santos took that silver over 5,000 behind his compatriot who ran in the last race, Yeltsin Jacques. So 3 3/4 laps. T11, complete visual impairment. So all the athletes will run with a guide. And you'll notice in this one that each of the guides is running on the outside of the athlete.
On your mark.
So away we go. And racing out to the front already is the Brazilian, Agripino dos Santos. He's not messing around and wants to get a clear run in there. So gold medalist in 2019 in Dubai in this event. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, the Pan American Games champion as well is Agripino dos Santos. So he's picked up a medal here in the 5,000 meters already. And he'll be looking to Maybe go one better than that silver when it comes to the 1500. 3 laps remaining. Karasawa of Japan is in second, and Casado is in third place, the Ecuadorian. And it's the first 3 who are out in front. They've left Rogoski and Rudakov behind somewhat at the moment, so it's splintered a little bit after just that 1 lap, 400 metres, and we seem to have 3 in place at the moment, and only 2 of those will be able to go through, and it will be the 2 fastest qualifiers over those 2 semi-finals that go through to the final. So it is important to make sure you go through in that top 2. Now, Agrippino dos Santos has just slightly lowered the pace down there, and Karasawa is behind him, and they'll come down into the home straight. And when they take the finishing line this time, they'll have 2 laps remaining in this men's 1500 metres T11 semi-final. But it's been Agrippino dos Santos the whole way. Karasawa Kenya will be no doubt brought on by a vociferous crowd as he looks to put himself into the final with 2 laps to go. Stefan, at the moment, it's a battle in 3.
I do wonder if this was a Brazilian team tactic. Agrippino dos Santos also heading straight for the front, just like Yeltsin did. Again, what you do is, 1, you push the pace, but 2, you just get out of a danger zone. And the most important thing in a heat is you make it to the final, because that is where the medals are won. And Agrippino dos Santos did set off very fast. We could see at the beginning from the pace clock we have just to the bottom left of the screen, he set off at PB pace. And again, the benefit for the rest of the athletes in this field is any of the athletes that don't make it through as that first top 2, only the top 2 in each heat are going to the final. It does mean that the other athletes will at least have a fast time to hopefully get in as a fastest loser, or fastest qualifier, as I prefer to say.
Well, Casado's moved up into second place past Karasawa Kenya, so the Japanese athlete has a little bit of work to do if he wants to get into those top 2 positions and qualify automatically as they come down and take the belt. It is the Brazilian Julio Cesar Agrippino dos Santos who has now stretched those legs out in front and has broken away from the other 2 and is probably 10 or 12 metres out in front. Casado is now being overtaken by Karasawa, who's taken the long route around the outside. It has no option but to do that. That does mean, though, that he's going to be doing a bit more work, and all of a sudden, Casado has seen that through his guide, and he's kicked again. So all the Japanese athlete can do now is stick out a lane or 2 wider than he wants to, and that is going to take a lot more out of the legs. Rudakov is making a run from around 15 or 20 metres back and trying to just catch up with those 2 athletes at the back, but way out in front, you can see there 15 metres or so. And there's Agrippino dos Santos. I think his guy will realise when they get with about 50 metres to go that he can slow down somewhat, because they are going to go through. But the battle is really on, and the battle has now become Rudakov's, because he's gone down the outside, and he may well take everyone, but he may have left too late. Karasawa looks like he's out of it. Casado's in second place. Rudakov is going to take third. Casado's going to get there on the line. Agrippino dos Santos takes first, and Karasawa Kenya has had to come in 4th place, the Japanese athlete. So Julio Cesar Agrippino dos Santos takes the victory. Casado has held on, the Ecuadorian, for second place. 4:07.28 is the time. So 3 seconds or so outside that championship record. Casado, a lifetime best of 4:09.42 for him. Season best time for Rudakov of 4:10.01 in 3rd position. And Karasawa has come through in 4th. Season best time for him as well. And Rogoski, a season best for him, finishing in 5th position. So it's a case now of just having a look at the figures and seeing what the qualifying times were. I can tell you that Rudakov has gone through. So Karasawa has missed out.
And that is so gutting, because you can see what happened to Karasawa on that back straight. If you're going to make a move to pass, it has to be decisive, because the problem he ended up with was he was having to run that curve wide and having to do that acceleration for much longer than they wanted to. And if you are running that curve wide, you end up running about an extra 3 meters than the other athletes. And what happened there was Rudikop just managed to come through in the end and pit them all. And that's what happens when you're having to try and change positions with such a wide berth.
Well, there is some good news. Wada has gone through from the opening heat, so he's in. Women's 400 metres T20, the opening round, and Brianna Clark will go in this one, the championship and world record holder, which was set when she won in Paris last year. So 3 heats of the women's 400 metres T20. First 2 in each of those heats will go through, and the next 2 fastest will advance to the final after that. We'll get to that line a little bit shortly. And there is our start list with Karina Pime, who is the 2018 European champion at the bottom of the list there. She's also a 2-time indoor champion in Istanbul back in 2019. Brianna Clark is the reigning Paralympic and world champion. That's our group coming around for the second of the heats in the women's 400 metres T20. Justina Franchik, you saw at the back there. She was 5th last year. But walking out onto the track now, you can see our group who are going to take place in the first of these 3 heats. Those ladies there walking down and get to have a rest for a few minutes or so and keep themselves warm. I wouldn't say it's bitter, but it's a little bit cooler on this morning of day 3. There is due to be some rain later in the day, so we'll see how that affects the evening session when we get to it. Karina Pime just getting her block set. It's a strong field, this one. Clark, as expected, would go out as the overwhelming favourite. This is the intellectual category, so sometimes when it comes to tactics in the intellectual category, some people may go out a little bit too quick, some people may go out a little bit too slow, so it does make a bit of a difference as to when it comes towards the end of the race. We'll come back to that in a moment. We'll just head back now to the long jump pit, though. It's the women's long jump T12, the medium visual impairment. Here's Kolbakova, who leads the pile at the moment. She has 5:48, which was her 3rd jump. So she's got 32 centimetres in hand over Martinez of Spain. Sawada is in 3rd position, 4:92 for the Japanese. Kolbakova, who took silver last year, currently on course for gold. And that is a decent one as well with number 4. White flag given. She looks happy.
We've been admiring Kolbakova's technique all morning. And again, long jump is quite a technical event. It's quite a difficult thing to, one, be able to take off at full speed, and then again, be able to just, you can see the way she uses her legs and her arms there to do what I would call controlling those rotational forces forward. Once you're in the air, there's absolutely nothing you can do to add to that jump. It's just a case of not losing anything. And the best way to do that is to stay upright and maintain control of your center of mass. And she does that beautifully.
T20, round 1, heat 1.
So the opening round of the women's 400 metres T20.
Portugal, Pime, Karina.
Karina Pime,
In lane 7,
gold medalist in Berlin back in 2018.
Clark, Brianna.
Brianna Clark, the reigning Paralympic and world champion.
Representing Thailand,
Kai Sing, she picked up a silver medal at the Asian Para Games just last year.
Andor Isel.
Isel Onder, her lifetime best set this year, 57.02. And Sabina Stenka of Poland. Season best, somewhat down on her lifetime best. She's 4 seconds off it in racing this year, but we are early in the season as we head towards the Paralympic Games in Paris in September. So the first two automatically qualify to the final, and after the 3 heats, we'll then find the next 2 fastest qualifiers. So the athletes just made to wait.
On your mark.
Stenker will go in 4, Onda in 5, Kaixing in 6, Clark in 7, and Pime in lane 8. First round of 3, women's 400 metres T20.
Set. Stand up, please. Please stand up.
Well, they've been asked to stand. So they'll have to now reset. It's happened a couple of times in these championships.
Show green card.
So the green card's coming out. There's no issues here. Didn't just get 1 green card, then we got 3 shown. Just to make sure everyone saw it.
On your mark.
Now, I think in fairness, the reason they were told to stand then was because we've got the T12 long jump going on as well, and someone was about to go, so didn't want this race taking off in the middle of someone heading down the runway.
Set.
This time we're away fine, and they all have no issues whatsoever. And Brianna Clark is moving up with Karina Pime on the outside and looking really strong as well. Is Onda of Turkey, who has flown past Kaixing of Thailand, and Clark has moved past Pime on the outside. It is the first 2 that go through, so it's going to be crucially important how this bend does go. Being left at the back is Sabina Stenker, so she looks like she might be out of contention already. And Clark is also struggling somewhat as they head around into the last 100 metres, but looking really good indeed is now Kaixing. But Clark is in all sorts of trouble, so Pime is going to come through in 2nd place unless Clark does something really vital here, but Onda of Turkey is going to take it. Pime in 2nd place, and Brianna Clark, in somewhat of an upset, has come home in 3rd, so she's going to have to wait. But Onda, the Turkish athlete, has run a superb last 200 metres. 57.02 is her lifetime best coming into that, and she's broken that 56.88 with a new lifetime best in the opening heat. A season best for Karina Pime in qualifying, in 58.93 and 59.92 for Brianna Clark, who has a lifetime best of 55.12, so quite some distance off it, Steph Reed.
Now, that was an amazing race from Onder, and we shouldn't take that away from her. That was an amazing PB, but I do think it's quite clear that Brianna Clark is not quite where she's used to. We've seen her dominate for so long, and actually she has said that she has been focused on healing a small injury from about 4 weeks ago. And just to keep in mind, if you are looking from the American team to compete both in these championships and in Paris, that's going through this arduous process of 2 trials, both for these World Championships and then for Paris in 2024. So we really hope that Brianna Clark is able to heal up.
Well, 59.92 for Clark, so she's going to have to wait. And looks like there might be a tiny bit of rain that's coming down. You can see the umbrellas are up. Thankfully, we're seated somewhere where we haven't got anything coming down on us just yet. There is a few spattering spots of rain around the stadium. Won't affect the athletes, though. They'll soldier on as they are at the long jump pit. With Sawada, who's currently in 3rd position. a foul with her fourth jump. Number 5, about to head off. .24 centimetres shy of Martinez in the silver medal spot. So she's ready to go. Well, that's way short of the board. Didn't even get onto the board.
No, and in this case, it's not an issue in that it's not going to be a foul, but what that means is the judges, the officials, they have to measure from a mark, and because of where she took off from, it was still on the red part of the track. There's no mark there, so what they're going to have to then do is measure from the front of that board. So unfortunately, she will have lost lots of distance. Now, we didn't quite catch her fourth jump. All we know is that it was a foul, so perhaps as they were adjusting, they moved her a little bit too far back.
Women's 400-meter T20.
Yeah, 4:42, so not the mark she was looking for, but she does stay in third position as we head back to the women's 400 meters T20. This the second heat.
Representing Poland from Nieczek,
Justina Frenchik, lifetime best of 59.09. She was fifth in Paris last year, bronze in the Europeans back in 2021 in her home country. In Bydgoszcz there. Really Benitez, who won gold in the Pan American game. Reyhan Tazdelen, 16-year-old youngster at her first major championships in Turkey. Angulo of Ecuador, also young, 20 years of age.
In day 5, representing Brazil, Da
Silva Barros of Brazil. She was fourth at the recent Pan American Games last year. And Chiara Mane, her first major championships for the 18-year-old from Belgium.
400-meter T20, round 1. Heat 2 starts now.
As per the last, that is the first two that go through.
On your mark. Set.
Away at the first time of asking, and a pretty even start. Looking good on the outside is Justina Frenchik. And Angulo of Ecuador has already moved up on Tazdelen of Turkey, the young 16-year-old, her first major championships. And Angulo is looking very good. Her lifetime best, 58.34 for the 20-year-old. Frenchik just holding her own on the outside. Da Silva Barros in the yellow and the bright pink hair is just pushing herself around that bend. It's Angulo at the moment who went out quicker than everyone else, and it's just a case of seeing if she can hold on to that. Tazdelen is moving up on the outside, and on the inside as Da Silva Barros, who I mentioned that distinct pink hair, and Angulo is just falling off somewhat. Da Silva Barros is going to take it, and Tazdelen on the outside is going to pick up second position, and Angulo holding on for third. So a nicely run race there by the Brazilian Antonio Da Silva Barros. Season best 58.42. And Tazdelen, well, 16 years of age. Decent enough run in the end. It looked like she might have been in a bit of trouble down the back straight, but she just held her own, 58.52. Just outside her lifetime best set this year, and a season best for Angulo, who had the lead for most of the race, or 3/4 of it, before faltering away in the last 100 metres. He finishes in a season best 59.34. So we'll have to sit in the hot seat now and wait to see if she's one of those fastest qualifiers.
Now, this race is just a brilliant example of how in a 400 meters it can all change as you come down the home straight. Coming to the home straight, Angulo was well in advance, and then she just gets passed by De Silva Barros, and then again by Tastelin, and that's because this is where all that physiology is really changing in terms of that lactic acid really hit. Everybody feels fine until 300 meters, and it's just a matter of, one, how you're conditioned, but two, how you have budgeted your effort. And that is a brilliant example of how to budget well from De Silva Barros.
Yeah, she was well back, wasn't she, as she came around the 200-meter mark, but she just held her own. The 400 meters is such a hard race. The lactic builds up at the end. But she knew exactly what she was doing, and that she held her own and held her style. She'll be fine. Some style with those umbrellas as well. There's the baseballers. Good morning. So the results from the opening heat in the 1500 meters T11, Yeltsin Jacks and Jigsaw go through, put himself together well, and Wada is qualified also. Agrippino dos Santos in heat number 2. Casido goes through as well, lifetime best for him, and Fedor Rudikov with a wonderful finish, qualifying as well with a season best. So there we are. That's how it looks. Yeltsin Jacks will go through top of the pile as always, and Rudikov sneaking in at the bottom. Opening heat of the women's 400 metres T20, intellectual impairment. Onda and Pime, with lifetime best and season best respectively, have definitely qualified.
Women's 400 meter T20 round 1, heat 3. In lane 9,
So this is the final
representing Japan, Kano
of the 3 heats. Kano Nina
in lane 8
of Japan will go out in lane 9.
Felix Barbosa da Silva Hardinia.
Sardinia Felix Barbosa da Silva
In lane 7
will be one to watch out for.
Jivanji Divi.
India well represented as always at these championships. Timothy Jivanji, lifetime best set this year, 55.49 for the Indian. Vera Colina of Venezuela will go in lane 6.
Representing Dominican Republic.
Venus Paula of Dominican Republic in lane 5. And Gomez of France will round up the field.
Gomez Suzinha.
The 21-year-old in lane 4.
Women's 400 meter T20 round 1, final heat 3 starts now.
On your marks.
So Japan represented again in this. There'll be a almighty roar if Kano Nina can find herself in qualifying through to the final. But that lady there is the one to watch out for. Felix Barbosa da Silva.
Set.
And inside of her is Jivanji of India, who's got away to an absolute flyer over that first 100 metres. She's up on the shoulder of Felix Barbosa da Silva. And at the moment, with the stagger, she's probably got the lead as they come down to around 200 metres to go. So Jivanji of India, her lifetime best of 55.49, puts her at the forefront of this field. She might be inexperienced, she might only be 20 years of age, but she's looking extremely good at the moment as she moves down into the last 100 metres. She's opened up a gap of around 7 or 8 metres, and that is extending a wonderful running style by Javanji of India. And back on the inside, it is Vivenis Pola of Dominican Republic who's going to come across in second, but 56.19 the time there for the winner. Javanji. Well, that was a quite brilliant run, 56.18. It's a new Asian record as well. Paula Vivenis with a season best 58.56 goes through as a definite qualifier. And Kano, season best in 3rd place at the moment. So there is hope for the host nation. But Deepthi Javanji, that was a magnificent run around the 150-metre mark into the race. She really put the foot down and just went past everyone.
I have to say, when she started that race, it looked like she was starting for 100 meters. And this is an exciting athlete to watch. We didn't see her compete in the Paris 23 World Championships, but she had an incredible games in October of last year at the Asian Games. And it's just, with Brianna Clark so dominant for so long and possibly not in her best form, this event has opened wide up, but I would have loved to see a showdown between the two of them at their best.
Well, Javanji, she set the new Asian record last year, 56.69, at those Asian Para Games, and she's just broken it again then. So she's gone through first, she will be into the final, and we look forward to that. We're also looking forward to the back end of this long jump competition. T12, medium visual impairment. That lady there leads, Kolbakova, 5:48. Her best so far, 32 centimetres on Martinez, and Sawada of Japan is clinging on to that bronze medal position. So here is Sawada. And away she goes. Well, the crowd like that one. Much better than where she went from her last. White flag given for Sawada.
Now, Sawada would have taken this jump knowing that her bronze medal was safe. Fernandez Roldan had gone just before her, and she would have felt perhaps a little sigh of relief knowing that her 4.72 from Fernandez Roldan would not come into the medal. So when you stand at top of the runway, knowing that that bronze is yours, two things run through your mind. One, relief, and two, freedom.
Well, she has improved, and she's hit the 5-metre mark. So she has a lifetime best of 5.70, but that doesn't matter because she's picked up a bronze medal, which is important. If she'd have gone 5.70, she'd have been up in first position. 5.48 is Kolbakova, but she has picked up a bronze medal for Japan. Sawada Uran, who took bronze last year in Paris, she takes bronze in Kobe in 2024. For the former European champion, 3 times a European champion, silver in Bydgoszcz in 2021. She's going to collect silver here, is she? Or is it going to be better? I think it's going to be silver.
I think watching Martinez jump throughout this competition, you've felt her sense of frustration. You can tell that she is an excellent jumper. Her runway, her rhythm, everything is there. But some days it just doesn't click. And it's unfortunate if you feel like it's happening for you at the World Championships. Let's be clear, silver is a fantastic achievement, but as athletes, you want to be in a position where you know that even your average day is good enough to make the podium.
Well, there's our winner. Kolbakova. Well, 5:27. It was an improvement for Sarah Martinez, but she'll have to settle with the silver medal. She looks disappointed. That lady there won't show any disappointment at all. Kolbakova, she's got a free run at her last jump. Her third attempt was 5:48, which set her up nicely. She's been at the front since her very first jump. It was 5:39. Getting the crowd going. She has nothing to lose as she heads in for the final jump of this competition. So the realization now has come that she's bettered her silver from last year in Paris, and she is the women's long jump T12 world champion. Uzbekistan picking up another medal. That will be the second gold of these championships for Uzbekistan, to add to the 2 silvers.
And that was such a fun jump to watch from Kolbakova. I think that was the first time we saw her really turn to the crowd and get involved, and that's because she already knew that she was a gold medalist. She earned the right to enjoy that jump.
Well, 5:35 for that jump there, but 5:48 is the winning mark for Yucatan Kolbakova of Uzbekistan. Sarah Martinez with the silver. And there is the bronze medalist, Sawada Uran, who hit 5 meters on the nose to take the bronze for the host nation. Men's shot put F40 final for those of shorter stature. Will be next to go.
The world record for
Be introduced to the crowd.
is held by Portugal's Monteiro Medial at 11.6 meters, and the championship
Denis Knezilov
is held by NEA's
will compete as a neutral athlete. He's the reigning Paralympic champion in a field of 10.
Shot put F40 final.
This man here, though, Matthias Sloop, won gold in Berlin at the Europeans in 2018 and bronze in 2019 in Dubai. Garrett Tinash of Iraq, a serial medalist, is the current Asian Para Games champion. Wang Wei of China. Lifetime best of just over 10 meters. Miguel Montero, he won silver back in London in 2017. He was bronze in Paris last year. Janis Fischer of Germany, bronze back in 21 at the Europeans in Bydgoszcz in Poland. Norden of Singapore, 10:02 for his lifetime best set this year. Batugla Segmid of Mongolia, bronze at the recent Asian Para Games. Tran of Vietnam, lifetime best of 9:36, and Rongali of India, silver at the Asian Para Games last year. And there he is. Denis Knezilov has the championship record of 10:88, which he set in Dubai back in 2019, the Paralympic champion. So this one of 4 field events in the morning session on day 3 here at these Kobe 2024 Para-Athletics World Championships. And it will be Matthias Sloop of Croatia that gets us underway. Women's 400 metres T20, the second heat confirmation there that Da Silva Barros and Tasdalen have gone through, and Angulo as a qualifier. Javanji with that new Asian record, and Kano, season best for her, going through.
64. Final.
For the disqualification for Vivianas Polo in that one. We'll find out the reason why in just a moment or two's time. For the track, we'll see more here. It is the 100 metres T13 opening round. Salam Kashvili is the world record holder. Jason Smith of Ireland still the championship record holder. This one has Kashvili going in it, the former T12 athlete, who's now classified as a T13. That's the least of the visual impairment categories. There is Kashvili, Paralympic champion. He won gold last year in Paris. Has the world record. No doubt he wants that championship record as well. So 6 will go in this. Just getting the equipment tested and making sure we're all in order. 2 heats, I should say, in this. Up next in the second heat, we'll have Johannes Nambala and Chad Paris, the white tiger from Australia. Decent field in there. Yasmani of Algeria as well.
Round 1, Heat 1.
But in this one, we've set Italy's Nicolo Peroso, 24-year-old, at his first major championship. Yakaran Damini of Thailand, who was a bronze medalist last year, is the Asian Para Games champion. Philip Handler of Switzerland, he's been around for a while. Won silver back in London 2012. Salam Kashvili, the reigning world champion. Kawakami Shuta of Japan, who goes in lane 7. Ikuwu Smith of Spain, 21 years of age, representing for the first time at a major championship event.
Round 1, Heat 1 starts.
So the first 3 will go through in each of the heats, and then we'll find the 2 fastest qualifiers to go through to the final. That's the man that everyone will be looking at, Kashvili, who we just saw. In lane 2, Damini, the Asian Para Games champion.
Set.
3 to go through automatically. And Kashvili, after a wonderful start, has already stretched his legs out. And next to him, it's Kawakami of Japan. It's going to be those 2 that go through. And in third place, also through, it looks like Philip Handler of Switzerland. And the veteran has managed to find himself straight through automatically into the final. Kawakami there, season best for him, a season best also for Kashvili as well. 10:77 is that time there, and 11:41 for Philip Handler. But they all got away pretty smoothly. Handler and next to Kashvili. And that's a wonderful run from Kawakami, the Japanese athlete, who's got a lifetime best of 10.80.
Well, that's the benefit of being next to one of the fastest men in the world. In a sense, you can kind of hang on to their coattails and let them pull you to a fast time. Bearing in mind, it is a little bit wet. The wind isn't in their favor, and it's a bit chilly. So 10:77 from Cache Valley. Like, very comfortable and very promising for the final.
Yeah, promising indeed. There are a few drops of rain about, and it is supposed to get worse as the day goes on, but hey, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about the fact that the high-class athletics is still continuing. And it's great to see that so many people are here watching out. So Cache Valley, Kawakami and Handler go through season bests for all three. Damini, the Asian Para Games champion, will have to hang on. 11:62 for him. And season bests also for Ikue Smith and Peroso of Spain and Italy, respectively. So the long jump finish for the morning, and confirmation gold medal for Uzbekistan. Kolbakova 5:48, Martinez with a silver for the second championships in a row, and Sawada of Japan 5 meters on the nose picks up a bronze medal. Well, we are up in the mountains here. It can get a little bit windy. And from time to time, there's a little bit of rain as well. And that's what's happening. Nothing to dampen the spirits, though, of the athletes who are out there. As we look ahead to number 2. And there are 6 to go in this. Chad Paris of Australia, he's always been there or thereabouts. His season best so far, 10:69, lifetime best of 10:65. He's a world championship medalist. Asmani of Algeria.
Men's 100-meter Team 30, round 1, heat 2. In name 3, representing Germany, Marzilia
Max Marzilia of Germany.
In name 4, representing Australia, Paris Chad.
Chad Paris has always been there or thereabouts in the medals. Athmani, who's the reigning 400 meters Paralympic champion. He took silver in this in Tokyo. Nina Aponza of Colombia, 10:63, his lifetime best. Nambala of Namibia. He's been around and is an experienced character. Thepthida of Laos. 11:45, his lifetime best set this year. The first 3 will go through.
T13, round 1, heat 2, starts now.
Silver at the Tokyo Games for that man there, as he looks ahead to Paris this year. Chad Paris there, second from the right of screen. Silver back in Dubai in 2019. Before that, he took bronze in Doha. He also took bronze in London. Missed out on a medal last year in Paris.
Set.
So away they get with no issues, and Athmani has absolutely flown out the blocks He is moving at a rate of knots. Paris is in second position. Paris has had a look across. He knows he's through, and looking like Mina Ponza might have picked up third place there. But 10:75 is the unofficial time. It is now official. Season best for Athmani. 11:29 for Paris goes through second. And I think Mina Ponza of Colombia, yep, he's got it. Season best for him. 11:46 goes through as an automatic qualifier. So those three definitely through to the final. But Athmani got off to an absolute flyer of a start, Steph.
That was a fantastic run from Athmani. You can see the way he gets off fast and he just keeps on building. And he is very, very fast. Everyone is talking about Kashvali, but with a PB of 10.52, he's just run 10.75 into a negative 1.1. And we didn't actually get to see what he could do last year because he was a do not start in Paris in the final. So this is going to be very exciting to see Kashvali versus Athmani.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that when it does come around. So Wei Wang, as we head back to the men's shot put F40. And that is out around the 10-meter mark.
Now we have two field events going on, the shot put and the discus, and these are both events in which the athletes will be hoping the rain does not come. On the track, it's more of an inconvenience. The athletes have spikes on the bottom of their shoes, so there's no danger of, for example, slipping. However, it is a very different story when you step into a throwing circle.
Yeah, it doesn't help at all when you've got the shot as well that's got water on it. Could slip, could move, and as you quite rightly mentioned, if you are turning in the circle and there's any water, it's not great for the grip on the ground. Well, that's a decent enough one out there from Montero. Knetzelov leads after the opening round. The Paralympic champion, Montero, 10:49 raised up to 10:55. So he's found a couple more centimetres, 6 all up. But Gnetzelov, as always, top of the pile up there. Montero is the world record holder. That's back in 2022, 11:60 in his home country of Portugal. Here's Janus Fischer. His first was a non-mark, so looking to find something to get himself up the board, and that one there looks pretty good. This time it's got the white flag.
Just before Fischer stepped into the circle, you could see him. He brought his towel with him and was very diligently drying off his shoes. He does use the spin technique, as Telson was mentioning, which does mean that glide, that grip, it really comes into it.
Well, Fischer is the reigning champion from last year. There's the Paralympic champion, though. 9.99 for Fischer, season best, puts him up into 4th position. That one out just under the 9-meter mark there from Norden of Singapore. 7th before that throw. His opener was 8.90. It's a colourful little shot put, isn't it?
And this really is an exciting event, not just because of the Technicolors going on there, but because we have all of our Paris medalists here, and we have our world record holder. And what's really interesting as well is that in an event that's typically dominated by older athletes who have developed the technique and built up the strength, we have a 22-year-old and a 23-year-old that are leading the way.
The days of youth. I remember them. Segment next up. 787. He's at the bottom of the pile at the moment. Well, that's much better. Much, much better. His season best is 9:47 for the man who took bronze at the Asian Para Games last year. His lifetime best is 9:74 for the Mongolian. And that will be pushing around those marks. 9:58. So it's a new season best and lifts him up in his 7th position. Up one spot. It all counts, though.
And you can see the difference there when an athlete gets it right. There's lots of strong athletes who can't throw a shot well because it's not just about being strong, it's about lining your body up in exactly the perfect position and getting all of those force vectors right.
Well, that's out around the 11 from Gnezidov. Doesn't look happy with it, though, does he? Been given the white flag. He was 10.83 with his first mark. And that one, well, it might be just a bit better. His 10.88, his championship record, which was set in Dubai back in 2019. Wonderful games in Dubai that year. So as Ron Garley comes out, we're just waiting for that mark from Gnezidov. Ron Garley in 9th position. 8.79 with his first. And that is going to be a little bit further because that's right around that 9-meter marker. Well represented, India, at these games. They're a wonderful para-athletic nation. Brilliant with the javelin, field events, high jump, running events, as we've seen this morning in the T20 on the track.
You can see the chalk on all of their necks, and that's just because one of the rules in the shot put is that it has to be a putting action as opposed to a throw. So you'll see the way that they line that shot up, and the reason for the chalk there again is just to do with that grip.
Well, Gnezidov is trying to dry everything out. .10.88, the championship record. He's 5 centimeters shy of that so far. Well, I'd say that has broken the championship record. It's gone past the 11-meter mark. Don't think it's anywhere out near that world record Montero set of 11.60 a couple of years back, but that is past the 11 mark. So we may have a new championship record in our hands here. The man is the Paralympic champion. 11.15, so he has smashed by 27 centimeters his own championship record that he set back 5 years ago in Dubai.
And that's great to see, because we've been going on a little bit about the conditions. They're not ideal for shot put, but you can still throw big.
Time to move back to the track. Women's 800 meters T54. It is the opening round of the strongest wheelchair category. And there are 5 set to go in this opening race.
The world record for this event is
And all 5 will start, including Muraoka of Japan, who's won 4 Winter Paralympic Games gold medals. There's youth and there's experience in this one. Talking of youth, in lane 8, Menya of Germany. She's been around for what seems an eternity already. She went in the 5,000 metres T54 yesterday, finishing 2nd, and maybe messing up through a bit of inexperience in that race.
T54, round
Shorter
1,
race this one.
Heat 1. In lane 8, representing Germany.
So she was 5th last year in this event in Paris. Merle Menya. She was 2nd in the 5,000 metres, as I mentioned. Silver in this back in 2021, the Europeans. Zhao Xiaoqian, silver medalist from last year.
Muraoka Momoka. In lane 5, representing Thailand.
Both a summer and winter Paralympian. Duinjin of Thailand, her first major championships. And another youngster, 19-year-old Anissa Abdullah of Norway, will go from lane 4 to start.
Round 1, Heat 1 starts now.
On gearbox.
So away they go in the first of 2 laps in the women's 800 metres T54. This is the strongest of the wheelchair categories. They'll move around to the far side and then they'll all be allocated a position to move across. As you can see just there. And they'll move to the inside lane, and it is Zhao of China, silver medalist from last year, who's already made the early running to get out in front. And she's ahead of Muraoka of Japan, who's in 2nd position there, just trailing in the wheel. So we've got 3 out in front. It is the first 3 who automatically go through, and then after that we'll find the next 2 fastest qualifiers. But that's a solid first lap from those 3, Steph.
That is, and watching the 5,000 metres yesterday, we were saying how that very much felt like a 4,000 metre race followed by a fast 800 metres. However, at the 800 metres, there is no time. You have to get into position quickly right from the start, and having a good start, having that ability to accelerate and start quickly, it matters.
Well, 58.88 that first lap there from Zhu. And those 3 at the moment are looking, well, unless something dramatic happens, which we've seen before in wheelchair racing, then those 3 would be the ones who go through. So it's just a case of making sure they maybe work together and know they're going to go through to the final. So it's Zhu first, Muraoka in 2nd position, and Menya, who's currently in 3rd. No Manuela Shono, Tatiana McFadden, no Catherine de Bruyne. Some of the big names that are missing from these championships, but there's plenty of talent still on show. It is Zhu who comes down towards the line, who's going to take it. Menya on the inside, and Muraoka of Japan in 3rd position. Those 3 will qualify through automatically for the final. Duingen coming across in 4th position. All those times count. And we've got a non-finisher in the back straight there. It's Abdullah of Norway, who has pulled up around the 200-metre mark and just gone off that far side. So perhaps an injury there that stopped her from finishing the race. Menya, who went in the 2:54 5,000 yesterday, and Muraoka is through as well. So Japan having a good morning. Medals and also qualifying through to finals. But a pretty stock standard one, that one, Steph. 3 of them went out from the beginning, and it was those 3 after 1 lap. You knew exactly what was going to happen. It was just a case of what order.
And you can see Zhao at the beginning, she was quite clear she wanted to be in the front. Again, the front, while it doesn't mean you're pulling the other women with you, it does mean that you were safe and out of congestion. But I was actually quite interested to see Miuraoka pull out from the draft of Zhao, maybe on that home straight, just wanting to give her top end speed a little bit of a test, maybe wanting to test out Zhao and see what she had, because in these rounds it can all be a little bit cagey, a little bit conservative. As long as you're in the final, it doesn't really matter until those medals are going to be decided.
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? Making sure you do get through to that final, and then it's all about the business end and making sure you come up with something there. Zhu, of course, who was a silver medalist last year in Paris. The gold medalist last year, Manuela Scher, not here. Neither is Tatiana McFadden. There's confirmation of that opening men's 100 metres T13. Athmani with a season best. Perez and Mina Aponza also through. Nambala going through as one of the lucky losers. Also going through. Demini as well. So a high-class field for the final in that one. As we head back to the F40 shot put. And Tran of Vietnam. Currently the bottom of the pile in 10th position with 8.64 is best in there.
This is an important throw in this round. We are in the third round. There are 10 men in this final, and only 8 of them are going to get their final 3 throws.
Well, there you go. Season best, 8.94. You mentioned about the 8 getting the final throws, and he's up into 8th position. But that man with a championship record, Gnezdilov, there's the world record holder, Montero. He's in 2nd position in 10.81. Well, now the pressure comes on, doesn't it? Rongali has got to make up around 11 centimetres if he wants to get himself into those final 3. Well, that looked all right, didn't it? White flag up around the 9-metre mark. I think he might have got it here.
And this is why those field events are so exciting. It can all change from round to round. And now he's waiting to see if he is able to elevate himself up into 8th position.
Well, he was 8.84. Oh, he's in 9.05. He's through. Well, Tran has just come up with an absolute belter. Season best, 8.94. Next up, Rongali. He's kept the track on the line, and he'll go into the final 3. 9.05. What an effort under pressure as well. Now here's the last of the throwers to go in the 3rd round. And his 2nd throw, he went 11.15 and broke his own championship record by 27 centimetres. He'll be going some to get to that world record of Montero's, especially in these conditions. Well, it's out over the, almost on the 11-metre mark. Such forces that go through the body, twisting, bending, turning.
You can just see there, that was a great shot of the way you really want to transfer all of your weight onto that leg at the end. Again, that is just part of the process of aligning all of your muscles and your joints to get all of that force and power behind the shot. And it's something that Gnezdilov has clearly mastered. Although you could see in the background there, he got, one of the officials raised a yellow flag, which I do wonder if he's letting him know this is taking a little bit long now.
Yeah. That's how we look at the moment after 3 rounds. Gnezdilov, Montero, Tanayash in that order. Fisher also in there as he looks to retain that title from last year. Season best for him. And Sloop in 5th place. Well, confirmation of that opening heat. Zhu qualifying in a season best. Menya through in second, and Muraoka of Japan. Abdullah fell out of the race with 200 metres to go and decided to move off to the side and did not finish. One of those races still to go in the heats for the women's 800 metres T54 as they move out, and we move quickly through this opening morning session of day 3 of 9, session number 5. The track is getting a little wetter now. You can just make out the water that's been falling on the surface down there. It hasn't been extremely heavy, but it's just been quite consistent, that annoying type of rain that just keeps on coming down. The umbrellas are up, as you can see, and it hasn't dampened the spirits, pardon the pun, but it's made for interesting para-athletics. Naomi Alphonse, one of the big names from last year in Paris, will go in this one, and she was one of the guest speakers at the beginning of these games. When they wheeled out the athletes to talk about what was expected and what they expected. Alphonse, a bronze medalist in the 400 metres in Paris.
At the moment, the athletes are just wheeling around the track in the starting lane that they've been assigned to in the 800 meters, and that's because all the athletes are given the opportunity to set their compensators. Now, the compensators are what the athletes use to navigate the corner of the track. It just means that they only have to miss half a push as they hit their compensator. However, one of the things of the 800 is, yes, you start in an assigned lane, but then everybody will filter through into the first lane. So again, that's where using your body to also help you to steer comes into play.
Complex, isn't it? You almost have to be an engineer, mechanic, everything.
Actually, a lot of the big teams do travel with a mechanic, both for the wheelchair racers and for athletes with prostheses.
Now, we should note as well that your husband, Brent Lakatos, who's not here at these championships, is a Paralympic and world champion. So you've got plenty of experience in dealing with wheelchairs. There's probably been a few tantrums at home as well when things haven't gone right.
I can't say I'm an engineer, but I have gotten very good at packing our car with a lot of equipment.
In lane 7, representing Mauritius.
Well, here's Naomi Alphonse. She was a silver medalist in the 100 last year. She was a bronze medalist in the 400.
From People's Republic of China, Tian Yayuan.
She's busy at these championships as well. She goes out in lane 6. Melanie Woods of Great Britain, who is in lane 8 on the outside as well. Dos Santos Roca of Brazil going 5, and Prempol of Thailand will be in lane number 4.
Heat 2 starts now.
On your marks.
Tian of China, the reigning Asian Para Games a champion in both the 400 and the 800. In the red in the center there, they will go around in their lanes, and as Steph Reed said, they'll cross over after that opening 100 meters. So we'll be able to see who's set their compensator and correctly and who hasn't, but they're across there. You can just see them tapping on the front of that wheelchair there as they move across, and it is the Asian Para Games champion Tian Yayuan who leads as they move across into the 200 meter mark of that first lap. 600 meters remaining, and Prempol as well in there, all bunched in as they head around, and the Santos Roca, Tian, Alphonse, and Melanie Woods. They're all in there. There's only 3 that can go through.
Now, with just those top 3 going through, there are 4 in that pack. And you see Melanie Woods at the back there. Now, she tried really, really hard, and she's making a move right now on this back straight. You want to make it on the straight, not on the corner. She tried really hard to get farther up that pack at the beginning. It didn't quite work out, so now she is putting in the work, putting in the effort now, because she wants to guarantee that spot in the final.
Yeah, it's Tian who leads out there at the moment. Naomi Alphonse is in 2nd position. Melanie Woods there in 3rd. So if it stayed as it was, it would be those 3 who go through. There's a bit of a gap breaking up now, and the Asian champion Tian is looking really strong. Naomi Alphonse behind her. I think she realises she's definitely there. She's had a bit of a look over her shoulder to see who's behind her. Melanie Woods is there, but it is Tian Yuan who's going to take the win in 1:53.40. So a reasonably slowish time, but when you know you're going to go through as one of the top ones, a season best for Tian as it is. Alphonse goes through in 2nd, and Melanie Woods, the automatic qualifier, goes through in 1:56.53 to take 3rd position and qualify through to the final. So not the fastest of races, maybe not the most tactical, but a race that the athletes at the forefront knew they were going to go through in.
Yeah, not necessarily a tactical race, but actually a great example of how important positioning is in the 800 meters. And you have to do it quickly. You don't have time. And it was, you can see here, Alphonse went off really quickly, knowing that that position matters. And at the beginning, Melanie just found herself not in the spot that she wanted to be, but she spotted the danger early, and she was able to not panic and just pull herself up into position. And it's all part of the learning process with wheelchair racing. You can just see how wide those chairs are. You have to learn how to get your chair in the right position and read that race well.
So from T54 wheelchair racing to F40 shot put in the men's section. And that is the leader at the moment and the new championship record holder, breaking his own mark from 5 years ago, Denis Knedzalov. Also the Paralympic champion. That one well past the 11-metre mark.
You just see the work there he had to do not to go across that whiteboard.
Well, he's thrown 11.26. He's broken his own championship record by another 11 centimetres. I must admit, I thought that one actually going to be a little bit less. I do wear glasses from time to time, though, so Knedzalov has moved that mark further out on to Nash. And there is Nash. He knows he's got a lot of work to do now, the Iraqi. Knedzalov's gone 10.83, 11.15, 11.02 and 11.26. The world record mark of Montero's is 11.60. Montero currently in the bronze medal position. But here is Rangali, who threw an absolute belter to qualify with his 3rd, but that one has slipped. Now that comes down to the conditions. It gets a little slippery. He's caught a foul on himself. And he went 9.75, as a matter of fact, just beforehand, in his 4th attempt. He's currently in 6th position, the Indian. Number 5, though, not so good. But you can just see the glistening on the surface down there is on the track, and it's not really going to help out when you're on cement like that. Anyone who's been on cement and when it's wet, you know that when a smooth surface, it does get very slippery.
It is difficult conditions for these throwers to putt in. That one just went outside the circle, and that won't count. Perhaps, again, just a little bit of slipping. However, as we can see from Knedzalov, you can still throw big in these conditions, and that's why, I mean, I was completely guilty of this as an athlete. If it was raining, I thought, oh, do you know what, I'll just train inside today, that's fine. But the reality is you do need to practice in those conditions, because anything can happen at a World Championships, and you aren't going to get that option to throw inside.
A couple of examples. I remember in London 2017, it absolutely lashed it down in a couple of the sessions. Really poured down. And then in the Paralympic Games in 2021 over in Tokyo, as we just wait for Wei, who's going to go with his throw. We'll come back to that in a moment. That's out past the 9-metre mark. He's currently weighing is currently 9.73, a season best for him in 7th position. But I remember in Tokyo, it was wonderful weather for about 7 or 8 days at the track, and then the heavens opened. The temperature dropped by about 12 degrees from one day to the next, and from going in t-shirt and shorts, you're into long trousers and jumpers and jackets.
And actually the irony of that is that so many countries invested so heavily into optimizing training and competing in the heat.
Yes, it changed somewhat.
I remember spending a lot of sessions working out in a heat chamber and taking lots of hot baths, trying to acclimatize. Fortunately, I competed on day 2, and it was very hot.
Well, that's Yao Yuan in the women's discus throw F64. She is currently in first position, 42.31. That's season best. She is the reigning champion from last year. She also won in Dubai back in 2019 in the Worlds. And let's have a look at what she's done so far. Well, talking of slippery conditions, she's done excellently well then to maintain that balance. She leads at present in the women's discus throw F64. Now, if you want any more information, of course, on the different categories that we will mention as we go through, the Paralympic.org is the place to go. Second attempt at F42.31 as we head back to the F40 shot put, and it is Fisher, the current champion, who's in 4th position at the moment. 10.37 with his 3rd attempt, and he's fouled with number 5. So he's got one more chance to either try and retain his title or get himself into those medal positions, which looks a long shot at the moment. He's going to have to find some distance indeed. He's 44 centimetres shy of Montero, who's in the bronze medal position. There's Ganesh, who is 10.82 with his 4th attempt, and he's in his silver medal position at present. Marak. Let's just watch him in these rather slippery conditions. Well, that's out under the 11-metre mark. He's got the white flag. He likes it. You always know when someone likes something, don't you?
You can keep your face neutral, but not your body language.
Yeah, he's improved every time. That one there, though, 10.59. He'd improved on all the opening 4, but that one there looked a little bit further than that. Well, here's the world record holder, Montero. His penultimate throw. 10.81 so far with his 3rd. Well, he's put everything into that. It's on the 11-metre mark. Now, won't catch Gnezdilov, who's 11.26. It hit the tape you saw there, but it is going to improve on where he was. And that is much, much better. It lifts him up into the silver medal position. 10.95 for the Portuguese. Yeah, he was happy with that.
And this is great because we've seen this in so many of the field events recently. Coming around to rounds of 5 and 6, everything just changing. And it makes it so exciting for us to watch. Possibly a bit stressful for them, but really exciting for us.
Well, the Asian champion, Tanash, has been relegated into the bronze medal position at present. Let's confirm results on that second heat of the women's 800 metres T54. Tian taking the victory in that one. So there's our qualifiers through. Dos Santos, Roca and Duangan go through as the lucky losers into the final. Men's 400 metres T36 final is next up on the track. James Turner will go in that one, who has a rake of medals to his name. He's defending champion. He has 7 World Championship golds in total across the 100, 200, 400 and 800 metres. He's also the 400 metres Paralympic champion as well. Krzysztof Czyska, who was the European champion back in 2018 in Berlin. Evgeny Shvetsov, 10 European golds, 6 world golds and 3 Paralympic golds for him. James Turner, the defending champion, the aforementioned, will run from lane 7. Matsumoto Takuro, who finished 7th in Tokyo in the Paralympic Games. Thalagia set a new African record in the heat, his first major championship for the 24-year-old. William Stedman, who was second behind James Turner last year in Paris. Bronze back in Tokyo in 2020. Rosa Almonte of Dominican Republic, lifetime best of 57.89. And the 24-year-old, his first major championship, who came through as a qualifier, is Rosny from Malaysia.
Men's 400-meter T36 final starts now.
James Turner, 52.91, his season best. Now this, of course, is the coordination impairment category. You will see some of these athletes tighten up, especially as they come into the last 100 metres. It does happen. And you can go from a standing or the blocks in this category, if you're wondering why there are some standing and some who have the blocks. We get away at the first time with no issues at all, and already Shvetsov has flown past Shuska on the outside, and James Turner is tracking Shvetsov. Further back on the inside, the Algerian Thalagia has gone past Matsumoto, but out in front at the moment is Shvetsov and James Turner. Thalagia is doing really well, though, as they round the bend for that last 200. He's currently in 3rd position, but James Turner's come up on the inside shoulder of Evgeny Shvetsov and Turner as they round into the last 100 metres. Now, this is where people do begin to tighten up somewhat. William Stedman is making great ground on both Turner and also on Shvetsov. And Stedman, at the moment, looks like he's going to catch Turner. It's going to be close. There's Turner in front. And Stedman, Turner, Stedman gets it on the line. He falls as he gets over. Turner takes silver. And it is the Algerian Thalagia who picks up the bronze. And what a finish. What a turn up from William Stedman. Now, I talked about athletes tightening up towards the end. Turner did just that. Stedman stuck with it, and he's reversed the result from Paris last year and picked up a gold medal. There is your bronze medalist from Algeria. A new African record is set in the heat. Stedman with a lifetime best of 53.36. He is exhausted. Turner 53.52, and Thalagia, the Algerian, picking up a bronze medal at his first major championships. What a finish from William Stedman, the New Zealander.
What a finish. In the heats yesterday, we saw both Stedman and Turner very, very happy to let other athletes win. They were very, very conservative heats. We suspected that. We probably weren't seeing the full extent of their abilities. Now, in this 400 meters, William Stedman, my eyes weren't even on Stedman. I was too busy watching Turner and Shvetsov at the beginning. But as we come down this home straight, you just see Stedman work his way. You can see Turner tightening up. Everybody struggles with lactic acid, but particularly in a T36 event, coordination impairment, that can hit you differently. But you see, again, Stedman even timed his dive across the line to perfection.
Yeah, Stedman, he held out until the last, didn't he? Couldn't have timed it any more perfectly. I mentioned about this coordination impairment category beforehand, and Shvetsov, well, he tightened up so much. One man who can't afford to tighten up is this man, Gareth Anayash. He's been relegated into the bronze medal position at the moment by that man there, Montero, who threw 10.95 with his last. The championship record holder has broken his own mark at the top, Ganedzlov. But here we go for the man from Iraq with his final attempt in the F40 shot put. And that's out around the 11, but he's been given the red flag So he'll finish in that bronze medal position. Yannis Fischer, by the way, the reigning world champion, his season best with his final throw 10.42, but it wasn't enough to get him up into those medal positions, so he's finished outside the medals in 4th place, has the German. So a battle in 2. Well, Montero is going to be going somewhere. He's the world record holder, mind you. 11.60 that mark thrown a couple of years ago in Pombal in Portugal. Well, he's given that absolutely everything, but it won't be enough. So Montero will take the silver. Bursting every sinew in his body there to try and get as much distance as he could. But it isn't to be. It'll be Gnezilov.
This will be interesting, because as much as Montero was trying to close down on Gnezilov, Gnezilov is trying to close down on Montero's world record. With 11.36 in attempt 5, he is around about 30 centimeters off. He's going to need to throw further than 11.60 for this world record.
No. He realises as well. But he knows he's got the medal around his neck, the gold one at that. So he adds the World Championship title to the Paralympic title. Denis Gnezilov is champion of the world, with a new championship record to boot. Montero there, you saw from Portugal, picked up the silver, and Tanash of Iraq with the bronze medal. One happy man there. You just saw, I'm sure Montero will be happy as well, in 2nd place at 10.95. For him, wasn't to be today, wasn't to be for that man either. Tanash, 10.82, picks up the bronze medal in 3rd place. We do have one more track event to go for the morning session, which will be the men's 400 metres T11 final coming up shortly. And right on cue. Daniel Mendes, the silver, with the world and championship record. The world record set back in Mexico in 2011, in Leon in 2013, that championship record. But that man there is the reigning champion of this, winning gold last year. Gerard Descarrega of Spain and Timothy Adolphe picked up silver and bronze last year in France. They're not here at these championships, but we do have 3 others who know exactly what they're doing. Mohammed of Bahrain, Chris Kinder of Namibia, and Usaida Novas of Spain will go up alongside Felipe Gomez.
And just to put into context how important these guys are in their race, in the heats, we actually ended up with 3 disqualifications. 1 for a guide runner finishing before the athlete at the finish line, 1 for non-compliance with the tether, which can sometimes mean, for example, releasing the tether before the finish, and 1 for a lane infringement. So it just goes to show how much of a partnership this really is and how important the role of the guide is.
Yeah, very important. And only 4 going in this, of course, because it is a T11 complete visual impairment. So they have 2 lanes each,
400 meters,
meaning only 4 can go.
Final.
And qualify through from those semi-finals yesterday.
In lane 7, representing Spain, Uceda Novas Eduardo Manuel. And the guy,
Now, Eduardo Uceda Novas on his day will certainly
lane
give
5, representing Namibia,
Felipe de Sousa
Kinda,
Gomez
Chris.
a shake at the title.
And the
52.01. Chris
guy,
Kinder,
Goa
same with him.
Aldo.
New season best set here,
In lane
51.15,
three,
which is also a
representing
lifetime
Brazil,
best. De Sousa Gomez,
Sousa Gomez Felipe.
50.38,
And the guy,
his lifetime best. He's only got 53.22 this year as he builds towards the Paralympic Games later in the year in
lane
Paris.
1, representing
And Hussein
Bahrain, Mohamed Hussein. And the guy, Jimel
With a lifetime best of 53.09.
Men's 400
which is also his
meter
season
T11
best.
final starts now.
So the last track final of the morning session.
On your marks.
One complete circuit. Then we'll have one winner of the gold. So it does take a bit of time for the guide to get the athlete into position.
Set.
So we may not have Descartes, the Paralympic champion, but we do have the reigning world champion, Felipe de Sousa Gomez, and he gets out very smoothly indeed, as do all of them, perhaps losing a bit of time. Hussein Mohammed of Bahrain at the back there, but looking really strong is that reigning champion, de Sousa Gomez, down that back straight with that smattering of rain still falling down there and maybe making it a little bit slipperier than normal. But it's de Sousa Gomez who's coming up on the inside shot on the bend of Uceda Novas, who's also looking really good out there in lane 7. As they round into the last 100, it is Uceda Novas of Spain who leads on the inside. De Sousa Gomez of Brazil looking to defend that title. But coming through the middle is Chris Kinder of Namibia. Is he going to get there in time? He may well just do it. Kinder's going to get there. Kinder's going to do it. He has. He's beaten off de Sousa Gomez into silver. Uceda Novas with the bronze. And Kinder has come home with an absolutely quite stunning run over the last 100 metres to take the gold medal for Namibia. 52.35 is the time ratified. 52.61 for Uceda Novas has taken the silver in the end, just ahead of de Sousa Gomez by 0.04 of a second. It was so tight. So the former champion is now a bronze medalist, and that man there from Namibia has taken the gold medal. What a finish from Chris Kinder.
Well, we have had an absolutely stunning morning of 400-meter racing and just really seeing what happens when you get that effort right. Now, Chris Kinder came through the 200 meters in 25 seconds, 0.24. De Sousa Gomez came through almost a second quicker in that first 200, 24.19. But at the end, it was Kinder who stormed down that straight. And again, 400-meter racing, it is so tough on your body to do a 400-meter sprint. Our bodies aren't physiologically designed for that, and it all comes down to that final 100 meters. Who has paced their effort correctly?
Now, it was a season best for de Sousa Gomez and Uceda Novas, but 52.35 for the man who's taken the victory. Now, his lifetime best is 51.15, so he's a quick athlete, we know that, but he's also a world champion. Brilliant work from Kinder as he flies across the line and just splintered between the other two and said, hey, I'm coming through, and this is going to be a new world champion. Men's 400 metres T11, Chris Kinder takes it. Well, back to the field events. And we saw Yao with that season best a little bit earlier in the women's discus throw F64. She's the world and championship record holder. Reigning champion as well. This lady, Middleton, of the United States, 29.61, her lifetime best. 28.91 so far is her best of 4 throws in this. She's currently in 6th position as it stands.
And at just 16 years of age, she is the youngest competitor we've seen, and what an experience for her at this championship. She's already said she's incredibly proud to make the American team, which is a very tough team to make, but to come out here at a World Championships and have your first experience be dealing with difficult conditions like this will be such a great learning curve for her, and just being able to watch how the other athletes are dealing with it as well.
And you know what? She was on my flight from Tokyo Haneda into Kobe as well. There's a little bit of trivia for you. Well, yeah, at the moment leads by a good 3 meters ahead of Mercado Plata of Mexico, and China in 1st and 3rd at the moment. Season best for Yang Yu of 38.72 there. New America's record, by the way, for the Mexican Mercado Plata. And here is South Africa's Yanni van der Merwe, who's currently in 5th position. That very first throw of 31.01 for her. Now she does throw over 33 meters, so she won silver back in Beijing back in 2008, and also in Tokyo 2020 did van der Merwe. "24 years of age."
So question back to Arel Middleton. Did she know who you were, Tilson?
Absolutely not. I go incognito. Incognito. Now, if it was you, there's a different thing. So Nessa in 4th position of Norway. She's had 2 fouls along the way. 31.84 her best to date. 27.56 that last one by van der Merwe, by the way.
It's a great shot there, and you can just see how the water is sprinkling down onto that discus throwing circle. And you can only imagine it can be a little bit tough when you really want to put through that maximal effort, but if you have any sort of hesitation about perhaps a slippery surface or your feet staying underneath you, that again just plays into what can happen at these World Championships. You aren't always going to get a perfect scenario.
Well, there's our leader. Looks pretty relaxed. Yu Yang, who, as I mentioned, was a silver medalist back in 2008 and also in 2020 in Tokyo. She's been around for a while. There's a few old experienced campaigners here. Have a look at that amount of water there, by the way. That just shows you the rain that's fallen out there, and it is still falling now, and it's got a little bit heavier as a matter of fact, so conditions are quite tough at the moment. We're heading up towards the 40-meter mark, but yeah, it's hard out there at the moment.
You can see her trying with that towel just to get a little bit of a dry spot. I'm not sure how much that helped. But it's one of those things, again, I wonder, because we started the day and the weather was actually pretty decent. If you kind of make a mental note that I need to get a big throw in early on before this rain comes, just to really make sure I solidify my position. But saying that, actually, we did have some big attempts in round 4.
Yeah, this is the last event of the morning session, by the way. This is the final There was 4 field events. This is the fourth, which is out there, and there's another throw left for each of the athletes. 2 for Mercado Plata and Joao at the top of the pile. So this will be their penultimate throws. But just have a look at that. That's in the space of a couple of minutes between Yang going and Mercado Plata. Yeah, that's full of water. I've done that before when something's fallen on the floor at home and I've had to wipe it up, and it sounds like that.
What a story from Mercado Plata. She competed at Paris 2023 and she finished 5th with a throw of 32.98. And in the span of 10 months, she has increased her personal best to 41.81. And it just goes to show everything can change in 10 months. What a save from her there. That is excellent.
That's like ballet, that, isn't it?
Like a cat.
Yeah, pirouetting. Pirouetting. No, she's happy. That's a foul. The one before, that one there, 38.16. Have a look at the amount of water that's just come out then. That shows you how much rain is falling down there at the moment. Difficult conditions indeed. Now here's a lady who's been around for a while. Let me take you all the way back to Sydney 2000. And she was a gold medalist in the javelin back then in Sydney. She's gold in the javelin in Beijing in 2008. Gold in London in shot put in 2012. And the discus in 2016 and 2020. Now, she's also got multiple gold medals in World Championships and Asian Para Games as well. That's experience. And she's showing it.
And you can see how they all have their techniques in terms of how they're dealing with the rain. Mercado Plata, she came out and she wanted to squeegee the circle with her towel. Instead, Yao came out and she had her discus covered by her towel. Wasn't that bothered about the water in the circle, but much more concerned about maintaining that grip with her discus.
Well, I guess when you're out in front as well, you're in a much better position mindset-wise because you know that they're chasing you down. So, hey, leave as much water there as possible and make them clean it up. That's the way I'd look at it. When you're a good 3 meters or so in front. So 40.84 then with that 5th attempt. So the remaining 8 have got 1 throw left to round out this morning session on day 3. It's been a decent enough old morning as well. 6 golds. 13 this evening. Yeah, the mop's out. Times are desperate when the mop comes out, I can tell you. Not making light of the situation, it is really, really hard because the rain has been falling steadily now for the last hour. And you can look around, you can see the track, and it's become a lot wetter, and we're quite lucky, as a matter of fact, that most of the work had been done out there before the heavier rain came down. So it's only really these ladies here who are feeling the brunt of it at the moment. Now, there is supposed to be more coming in later on. You can see there we go. Wonderful camera work. Thank you very much. It says light rain, 20 degrees. That's probably a little bit heavier than light rain. There's the wind. 5 kilometers per hour, maybe a little bit more, but hey, it's not the end of the world, because I can tell you that the weather forecast over the coming days is supposed to improve.
Now, I wonder if they're only allowed to do this in between rounds, and in that case, I would much prefer to be the athlete 8th in the order at this moment. But good to see though that all of the discuses are safely under that tent. And it is great to see the officials really are doing everything they can just to ensure that athletes can have the best experience possible.
Yeah.
Even with this rain.
Yeah, it's good to see as well, 4 season bests in there and a new area record as well for the Americas for Mercado Plata. So it does look a bit chilly down there. I can tell you we've got a couple of blankets here, but they're not going down there to help clean the ground down there. We're keeping them. And we have to know that not only is this the first time that East Asia has held the World Paralympics Championships, but the same time, or this first time in the same year that the World Championships have been held as the Paralympic Games. So it does mess with people's equilibrium as far as training goes, because they have to work out how they're going to approach each event and how they're going to peak for each event if they're going to do the both. And that's why we do have a few athletes who have opted not to come to these games, because it is a bit difficult to travel to this part of the world, but also to get yourself at peak physical fitness for what you want to be doing is the Paralympic Games later in the year as well.
It's been interesting chatting with the different athletes and hearing their approaches to it. And Melanie Woods, actually, who we just saw compete in the 800-meter T54 women and qualify for the finals, she said, to be honest, I'd be competing in May anyways. And the biggest thing is just making sure to minimize the impact of travel.
Well, we are now into the final round. That is Alero. Phyllis Harris-Chibas elected not to go with the final throw. So we're up to number 7, which was Alero 26.99 for her. So she doesn't improve and will finish in 7th position, the Kenyan. It's a waiting game, isn't it, when you're up the front and you know that you're at the top of the pile, you're in the very last round, whether it be in throwing, whether it be in jumping. You are there waiting and hoping at the top that no one throws anything further than you, so that you don't have to come back and raise your game yet again.
Yeah, it's this weird position where you have to keep your emotions in check because it's not yours yet, and you have to be prepared to respond in case someone comes up with something big in this final round, which we have seen before.
Well, here's the American youngster getting plenty of experience out of this, Middleton. .28.98 was the best throw. That was with her 5th attempt. .16 years of age. So long ago for me, I can't even remember.
I think that's actually the really cool thing about this event, the throwing event. We do see such range in terms of ages.
That's good as para-athletics in general, in fairness, across a load of events, that you see such a diverse range of ages, from those who may be around the 50 mark to those who are 15 and 16 years of age. It's wonderful to see that people are getting involved and really enjoying whichever para-sport they're involved in. I can tell you that was a foul with a final attempt for Ariel Middleton of the United States. So she finished in 6th position. Yanni van der Merwe of South Africa with her final attempt, and that is a red flag as well. So she'll finish with a couple of fouls out of her 6, her 3rd and her 6th attempt. So we'll have 4 left to go after that foul from van der Merwe.
It's interesting with para-athletics in that there's a lot of range in terms of the time that it takes for athletes to develop. So, for example, particularly with men's wheelchair racing, it can take years and years for the men to get to the point where they are winning medals. And so, for example, Great Britain has a different policy when it comes to funding, because they understand that it could take a decade before you see somebody doing well on the world stage, but you don't then want to not fund them, because that's not very encouraging, isn't it? So you have to take a very I guess, strategic approach, but also a very individual approach for each event, and recognize how different they all are.
How much would ability come into that compared to attitude, do you think, when it comes to funding? Anything? Or is it just straight down to ability?
I think that actually gets into a very philosophical question about, you know, is it genes, is it environment, is it personality, is it talent? And I think we're always going to end up that it's both.
Well, Nessa, talking about ability, she's got plenty of it. She's picked up 4th place, but that last throw of hers was a foul as well. So she's come up with 3. That's 3 in a row. And it is difficult, the conditions here, so you can't fault the ladies for perhaps it's slipping out the hand, or you slip over the board at the front and you foul that way. So we're into the final 3. So the final 3 are guaranteed a medal. Now we just have to work out and confirm in what order that will be. Yang Yu will go first. Yang Yu was a silver medalist in the discus back in Doha in 2015. Now that was slippery for a different reason. Sweat in the hands there, I tell you right now. Very, very humid when it was held in Doha. So her final attempt, and that is out around the 40-metre mark. But I don't think it's going to improve on what she had, 38.72, that's season best, placing her in the bronze medal position. Yeah, so no improvement there, 37.91. So a bronze medal confirmed for Yang Yu of China. This lady's really enjoying herself, by the way. Mercado Plata. 20 years of age. Lifetime best of 41.81. She hasn't got up to that mark just yet. She's 40.35. She'd have to go well past her lifetime best if she were to claim a gold medal here and relegate Yao Zhuan, who's at the top of the pile. Well, yeah, I think that's told us all we need to know when we heard that noise. That is a red flag. Didn't even get out of the quadrant. So that means she takes the silver medal, and our gold medalist is confirmed. Yao Zhuan, that lady there, is guaranteed to take the gold and add to her 9 World Championship titles across discus, shot put and javelin. It'll be title number 10. And she'll retain the title again that she won in 2019 and 2023. She can add 2024 in Kobe in Japan to that one as well. Just tossing it out there casually around the 40-metre mark. It won't be an improvement on that 43.09. I don't think she's bothered. It's a pretty casual throw, in all honesty, there, because I think she just wanted to get it out there.
I was actually surprised and impressed she went out and took that throw, because she didn't have to. It was hers. But you may as well enjoy the moment, and she had all the eyes in the crowd were all on her, so have your moment and enjoy it. Yeah, great work by her. She picks up the gold medal in that season best of 43.09. Mercado Plata, a new America's record for her of 40.35. And in third place it's China as well. Yang Yu, season best 38.72.
for the lady from China. So they bookend it with Mexico in the middle in second place there through Osiris Mercado Plata. Smiles all round for Yang. Another medal for her. Not as many medals as her compatriot, who's claimed the gold in Yao Zhuan, but it is a medal nonetheless. China, as always, just excel in World Championship para-athletics. The last 4, they have been at the top of the pile. So here is third place Yang Yu with that season best 38.72 to claim that bronze medal. Osiris Mercado Plata, a new America's record of 40.35 with this throw here, which hands her second place and the silver medal for Mexico. But the winner, her 10th World Championship title across javelin, shot put and discus, is Yao Zhuan with a season best 43.09. She does hold the world and championship record. Didn't get quite up to that mark given the conditions, but she still has claimed the gold medal. China with gold and bronze, Mexico with the silver. And a brand new flag to boot. China now have 6 gold medals. They're at the very top of the pile. Brazil with 5. And doing what they always do. Winning medals at Para-Athletics World Championships. And doing it on a consistent, and in this case, annual basis. World Para-Athletics Championships last year in Paris, this year in Kobe, and we'll have them again next year as an extra special treat. They say all good things come in threes, and, well, hey, why not? That big flag provides a bit of cover as well, doesn't it? I wouldn't stand it too long, though. It'll be sodding wet in a moment. So what a morning it's been. That the final event of this morning session, the women's shot put F53. This the men's shot put result from earlier. 8.79 championship record for Ochikidze. Gunny taking second place there, but it is Georgia at the top. Here is third place Mokhtar Hamami. 8.43 with his season best, picking up the bronze medal in this F53 seated category. He was a gold medalist back in London in 2017. This man here, Gunny, lifetime best of 8.58 for him. As far as that goes, and here he is from Georgia, Ochikidze, championship record of 8.79, breaking the mark set in Asen back in 2006 from the Mexican Maximo de Jesus Mauro. So gold for Georgia, and by my reckoning, their first of these championships, coming in the men's shot put F53 final. Gija Ochikidze smiles around with their assistants or guides, whichever you want to call them. Confirmation of that result. Championship record for Ochikidze, Gunny and Mokhtar Hamami picking up the silver and bronze respectively. Men's shot put F40. Gnedzilov with a championship record. Montero, the world record holder, could only manage 10.95, and Tanash 10.82. But it's Gnedzilov who adds to his Paralympic title with the world title. So Ganache, 10.82, best he can muster in this competition, the man from Iraq. He kept out Janis Fischer, who was the gold medalist in Paris last year. Fischer into 4th position because this man here, Tanash, with a 10.82, proving too good. Montero, the world record holder, which he set 2 years ago of 11.60, couldn't get near that. 10.95 for the Portuguese today. That was enough to secure the silver medal. And it became a European 1-2 with this man here, the neutral para-athlete, Denis Gnedzilov, breaking his own championship record that he set in Dubai back in 2019. 11.36, his championship record he threw here, adding 48 centimetres to the mark he set 5 years ago. Conditions weren't perfect with the rain falling, but they didn't get the worst of the conditions, and pointing to the sky, and perhaps that's when the rain started to come down. That gives you an idea of it. Gnedzilov championship record takes the gold. Montero, silver, and Tanash with the bronze. Janis Fischer, the former champion, missing out in 4th place. So it's been a wet, not so windy morning on day 3 in the opening session. We will have more getting underway a little later in the evening at 5 p.m. local time. Loads to look forward to and loads to look back on. That one there was absolutely stunning by William Stedman, taking victory in the men's 400 metres T36 ahead of James Turner, the Paralympic champion and former now world champion. Also this one, Chris Kinder picking up gold in 52.35 in the men's 400 metres T11. The former champion, Gomez, season best for him, but he finished with the bronze medal behind the Spaniard, Seda Novas, also with a season best for him. Some wonderful action in the long jump pit as well in the women's T12 medium visual impairment. Kolbakova, who took silver in Paris last year, she now takes the gold, 5.48. Martinez of Spain, silver in that one. But this was the bronze medalist, Sawada Uran of Japan. Bronze medal that sent the crowd into raptures, as you would expect. Quite wonderful effort. This was the first of the field events of the morning. Martinez made it consecutive silver medals after Paris last year in the T12 long jump. She was also the silver medalist in Tokyo, so you sense disappointment from her at the end of it. But at the end of the day, when she reflects and looks back on it, she'll be happy with her performance. But no one can stop this lady here. From Uzbekistan, Yokatan Kolbakova. Improving on her mark from in Paris, where she just failed to get the gold medal there. She picks up the gold medal today, though, with a quite wonderful technique and wonderful jump to pick up the victory for Uzbekistan. So confirmation that Kolbakova, Martinez and Sawada are the medalists in the women's long jump T12. Well, the rain has been falling in this morning session. We still had loads of brilliant athletics to look forward to, and we'll have some more tonight as well. 13 medals to be given out of the gold variety in the evening session. We look forward to your company then. For myself, Tolson Tollett, Will Downing and Steph Reed, it is bye for now.